Welcome to a brand new episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
We are here to celebrate the RPGs of 2025. And by the way, when I say the RPGs of 2025, I mean the RPGs and other games that we played in 2025. They didn't necessarily need to have come out this year. In some cases, they might not have. But these are a sort of look back at all the RPGs we played and probably loved in 2025. And then at the end, we'll do a real quick look forward to what we're, looking forward to in 2026. So why don't we dive into it here? I'll let you start, Musum, and like last year, we'll do kind of back and forward lists. So you do one, I'll do one, you do one, etc., etc. Why don't you lead us off here?
Okay, well, I'm going to start with Metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah.
Man, I love this game. Like, even putting it on this list made me think, there were still some trophies I didn't finish up, and I can probably just walk over anything I run into in that game at this point.
True.
Like, I don't know if it was just the perfect time for me to play a game like that, and it was just like the perfect spin I was wanting on that. I know it didn't necessarily hit with you, Boston, and I'm still holding out hope that one day you're going to turn it on and be like, I was crazy, this is amazing. But it's okay, I will love you either way.
I think part of it is, I think the game did click with me, but I think in the opposite way, it kind of came out at the wrong time for me of like, I think this game is really great and it's really clicking with me. I just don't know if I necessarily have like the dozens of hours right now to play through it in kind of the way that I think I might want to, of like, I like these systems, I like the combat, I like the kind of job system, especially I love a job system in an RPG, especially ones where you're kind of like mixing and matching stuff between them. I just don't know if I have the time right now to do like 100% of this game, which is where what I think I would want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why I kind of didn't stick with it.
Yeah, and there's some stuff in the game, like I think I'm on my third playthrough on it. And I've already screwed up getting one of the achievements I need, which is you're supposed to win a debate with everyone.
Oh, right.
And I think I just need to look up those answers, and a lot of the debates are early in the game. So you gotta get them pretty quick. But from the job system to Hulkenberg what an amazing name, Hulkenberg. And I loved as the game got into it, you were planning these trips and when you start the game, you're really looking for this pattern of story versus dungeon that would, I just forgot the company's name, Atlas.
Right.
That Atlas has established in the Persona games, and particularly in the intro missions, it is really unclear what pattern that is going to take. And you're probably a good 10 to 20 hours in before there's any sort of pattern. And when there is, they still have a lot of interesting ways to kind of change to circumvent your expectations on that pattern. But planning your trips and spending time with your colleagues, and it's just such a fun game. Highly recommend. One of my favorites. One of my favorite Atlas games, I think.
Right.
That I will likely revisit often on other platforms as I restart the game from scratch. So
nice. My first game here is Citizen Sleeper 2.
Oh man, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
oh, so good.
Yeah, a game we played for Game Club this year. Came out really early this year. Wait, we played this for Game Club, right? I probably should have looked it up.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
I really loved the first game a lot. It is if you haven't seen Citizen Sleeper 1 and 2 before, there really are tabletop RPGs, kind of like dice-based tabletop RPGs, but they are single player. So you're a sleeper who's a let's call it like a cloned replica, a robot replica of someone that is owned by a corporation. In both games, you are on the run for one reason or another and trying to like eke out a meager life uh, in both of these games. And a lot of it is just a lot of storytelling, very cool art, very cool music, a lot of risky dice rolls. And I think I like a lot of what the second game does to extend some of the systems of the first one. Um, not sure if it's always successful because I think Citizen Sleeper 1 could be a little bit too easy, and I think Citizen Sleeper 2 can be a little bit too hard often. There are difficulty settings in the second one, thankfully. I will never play on the hardest difficulty. I played for maybe an hour on the hardest difficulty and just went, no, that's not for me. I'm not the type of guy that's gonna do that. Um, but I really liked how they took the systems of the first one and extended them of you kind of having dice that have individual status effects on them. Your class can have additional stats and skills. Each of the classes in this one feel more distinct from the other one, or from each other in a way that I think played off in interesting ways. A lot of the returning characters from the first one are really cool. I think I think using the ship and going to more places than the first game, because the first game only took place in one location. This one takes place across a sort of a small collection of space stations and planets and stuff. I think that worked out really well. And I was really happy to see that this game continued to keep its sort of like community building optimism that the first game had of like, look, when we're down on our luck and the corporations have us under their thumb, community and fellowship is kind of where we get our level of success, and hopefully a friendship can come out of that too. So I think I really loved it, and I am happy they made a sequel, and I'm happy it was really good. And I'm again still very excited to see what that small team does next. What were your thoughts on Citizen Sleeper 2?
The game's amazing. It should be on my list. Just, I didn't look at our game club list. I should have. I know better than that. I like it. You know, the first game was good. I like it loads better than the first one. Like,
Yeah.
it expands in just a really massive, satisfying way. And really, like, if there's one thing that hopefully our audience has learned about me is if you give me an RPG-like game where I'm in a spaceship with a crew and
Yep.
like they have personalities and we have relationships, like I am in.
That's going to do it
That
every
is
time.
that is what I want.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. All right. What's your next game on your list here?
we'll go with Avowed.
Oh, Avowed. Right.
So that's another Obsidian joint here. You know, it's in a way it's kind of Outer Worlds but fantasy
Hmm.
and more actiony. Um, I really enjoyed it. I have not played a game with the voice actor from who did Garrus and Mass Effect in it. I think,
Right.
or at least that if I've done a game with him, he didn't sound like Garrus.
Right. True.
And this one, they were like, I don't know if they just told him, "Hey, we need you to really sound like Garrus in this one, but
Hmm.
with a different personality." But it was good hearing them. I think the lore and Pillars of Eternity is neat. It I have discovered it's a game that, like, I got a coworker to try it out, and he's like, "Yeah, I played like an hour, and that game's not for me."
Okay. Fair enough.
So it evidently isn't for everyone, but it's, you know, sometimes I want just here's a big area, here's a checklist of stuff to go do in that area. You're in an action RPG, go cast some spells and swing some swords and find some secret stuff, and then occasionally get some
Right.
cool story moments, you
Yeah,
know?
like explore and kind of poke around the area, see what trouble you can get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, it's more video gamey than like, sim.
Right.
But I need that sometimes.
Right.
But I think the characters are a lot of fun. I think I'll be playing Avowed 2 when it comes out on day one.
Right. Right.
Did you ever give this one a shot?
No, because it is on Game Pass, but it's only on Xbox and PC. And I was
Mm.
hoping it was going to be one of those games that was going to make the jump over to PS5 sooner rather than later, and it hasn't. It hasn't yet, and hasn't been announced for those platforms yet. So I'm still kind of waiting for that to happen. Hopefully
I mean, aren't
not.
they putting Halo out on PS5? Didn't I hear
They
that?
are. Yep. Yeah. There's a like
Like,
a remake of the first Halo will be out on PS5.
I mean, come on, you guys can make that deal happen. You can
Right.
put freaking Avowed on
Exactly.
PlayStation.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, we'll see. I feel like I haven't necessarily maybe been in the mood. I think for a big open world game like this. Like I feel like you need to be in the right mood for one of these things. And I don't necessarily think I have been yet, but I'm kind of keeping in the back pocket for like, yeah, I could play like 40 hours where I'm kind of not doing the main objective. I'm kind of like ping ponging from one cool thing in this world to another. um,
Well, and that's, you know, I can't stress enough. This is not a Bethesda open world sim.
right,
This is more sandbox than sim. I believe
right,
would be the terminology. You are finding dungeons. You're finding locked things. You're finding things to fight. It is a action RPG through and through. While you do make decisions that affect the story, and some of those things you do out in the world can affect the story, they're more like you just discovered the secret faction and killed them all, so they can't do this thing they were going to do later, type of
right,
deal. Um, so it's you kind of just, to me, it's almost a brain dead game to maybe brain dead's not the word, but it's more combat than dialogue, I guess
right,
you could say.
right.
But anyway, I like it, and it's not a 100-hour game. I can't remember how long I spent in it, but I think it's a 40 or 60-hour deal or something like
That's
that.
not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's pick a game. Okay, my next game will be Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilise Chronicles.
Yeah.
Um, didn't spend as much time with this game this year, maybe as much as I wanted to. I think in kind of the positive way, it's just Final Fantasy Tactics. It is just accessible on modern platforms. They have the original version in there, but more importantly, they have a really good version of it, the kind of newly remastered version, I guess we'll call it. Reminder that's the Square Enix said the reason why this took forever, they lost the source code of the original one, so they just had to rebuild Final Fantasy Tactics from the ground up again. So that's why that's why this one took quite a while. But it's really great. The soundtrack is the same as it has been. The voice acting is impeccable. The new script feels really good. The quality of life stuff feels really great. I'm talking on the show about, when you get a chemist, they start with throw items sort of inherently at the beginning. That's huge. Having even just having that quality of life thing would make this game even better at the beginning, and there's kind of even more across the entire game. And I kind of wish there was more to talk about it, but it's one of the best games of all time. It's the best SRPG of all time. It's just now you can play it easily on a console you have, without having to like emulate or whatever. Um, I know there was some gnashing of teeth that it doesn't have the PSP stuff in it. I genuinely don't care. I don't think that added a super amount of stuff in the game. Um, and the only thing that I was a little bit worried about coming in this game is how it looks. You know, some of the pixel smoothing stuff. But I was actually fairly surprised that when I got down into it and I started playing it, I actually kind of like how it looks. There's a kind of cool dithering effect on top of it that makes it look really interesting, that I think doesn't look good in screenshots, and even some kind of low quality videos make it look a little bit rough. But actually playing it in person, I think it looks really cool. And I put a couple hours into it and really liked it. And I think that one of the reasons, to be honest, that I kind of didn't stick with it is because it's Final Fantasy Tactics again. And like, I haven't played it since the PSP version, which that version was really great. But the idea of, as the year comes to a close and I'm kind of trying to play as many 2025 games as I can for kind of end of the year, game of the year stuff, the idea of going through and playing more Final Fantasy Tactics is sort of like, yeah, I could play that, or I could play something that came out this year that people really liked. So I think that's a kind of a reason why it fell a bit by the wayside here for me. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about Final Fantasy Tactics other than it's still one of the best games ever made. It still has a killer soundtrack, and now it has incredible British voice acting because it's a Square Enix game. So you kind of can't beat it, I don't think. All right, what's your next game here on your list?
We'll go with Claire Obscura Expedition 33.
Yeah.
I have talked this game to death on this podcast, and despite whatever my mixed feelings on the games are, overall, I think you can't talk about RPGs of 2025 without talking about Claire Obscura.
For sure.
Whether you think people were overhyping it, whether you think it was worth the hype, I think there are things you can't take away with it. It is an amazing looking game.
Oh,
It
for sure.
does things in a story you just don't expect, that has very high emotional impact.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't regret playing it. Yeah, there's parts of it that I'm annoyed with, and I probably will never play it again. Uh,
Right.
but like, it's in a lot of ways it is a really good game, and I think if you have any interest in it, you should at least play through it once, even if you have to put it on easy difficulty,
Right.
just to see the craziness of the story. Because I can't talk about 75% of the story on this
Right.
podcast because it's huge spoilers. Like, that's just how that game was constructed, to have a perspective shift of the story every 10 hours.
Right. And
And
I think even if we hadn't played this game on the show, we'd probably be talking about it as like the most talked about
yeah,
RPG of the year. Like it so many people were playing it at the beginning of the year and saying like, well, this is my game of the year, with a bullet, with no doubt about it. And I think
yeah,
it's been a long time since we've seen an RPG that has captured so many people like that. Final Fantasy VII is probably the biggest one for our lifetime. But we see one every once in a while, especially when Bethesda puts out a big open world one that kind of captures the gaming sphere. Um,
yeah,
but usually it's not like a turn-based, action-based, timing-based
yeah,
painting JRPG. Like it's usually the kind of big, like, oh, there's a new Elder Scrolls game out. Yep, that's everyone's gonna talk about it. It's game of the year. There's a new
yeah.
Fallout out. That's game of the year. That's everyone's game. Um, so it's been kind of interesting to see, just as someone who only played a handful of hours of it and didn't click with it. Um, just how many people have played this, and how it kind of seemingly came out of nowhere, and everyone's like, I can't wait for this French JRPG, and it's like, what's happening here? Is seriously for real? Um,
And and I also got to ask you, they
hmm.
made that soundtrack free on Bandcamp. Did you grab that?
I did not know. I didn't learn about it until
Oh,
afterwards, and the soundtrack's really great. And like you said, an incredible looking game. Like you saw trailers of this game, and you're like, well, come on, that's not what this game is actually going to be. There's no possible way. And it turns out, yeah, no, that's what that game really looks like, and it does really look cool and very. It has such a very unique style that's really all of its own for Clair Obscur. So um,
yeah.
it's a cool game
It's it's I don't regret playing it. I just won't play it again, but you know, I'm going to be curious what the studio does next.
for
So,
sure. It's definitely a studio to keep an eye on. Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
What's my next game here? We'll do Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, uh, which is sort of RGG's return to the kind of beat 'em up style of Yakuza games. It seems like the mainline games are going to be the turn-based games that I really like, the kind of turn-based party ones, and these ones now seem like they're going to be the kind of action beat 'em up ones. Um, I liked this game quite a bit. I think it's my least favorite of the spin-off games so far, just because the man who erased his name was so strong of a game, especially from a storyline perspective. And I think this game kind of takes the opposite approach here of telling this like Majima pirate amnesia story in Hawaii. And I think it's a lot of fun. And I think the story is this really very light, campy sort of thing, even as the game kind of progresses. Um, and I think that's to its benefit. The game opens with a credit sequence that's also like a pirate musical number, which I think is really great and like something I feel like only RGG can do. Um, and it's nice to see the Hawaii stuff come back from Infinite Wealth. Again, RGG is the masters of taking this incredibly huge complex thing that they've built, and then kind of squeezing every drop they can out of it and still making it really interesting. Um, and then adding on top of that the kind of pirate ship fighting stuff, which I think turned out to be really cool. Um, I think it's really good. I again, it's kind of tough because if you like the Yakuza games, you're probably going to play this anyway. And it's really not the recommended starting point because it's like the storyline bridge between uh, the like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and then whatever the next Like a Dragon game is going to be. Kind of like how the man who erased his name was the bridge between the first two Like a Dragon games. Um, so like it's a little bit of a hard one to recommend by itself because it's caught up in so many of these other games. But if you've played and you liked the other ones and you're kind of up to date with it, Pirate Yakuza is really fun. For like, I think I played it in like 20, 30 hours or something. Like it really wasn't a kind of huge investment thing like a lot of these side games are not. So um, it was cool and I liked it. And it's kind of not the most detailed one to talk about, unfortunately, but it's great. I like it. What's next on your list?
We'll go with Oblivion Remastered.
Oh,
Um, and I think the thing to remember about this is this game was rumored to be happening and then it was rumored it was going to drop in like a week or two.
Uh,
And then Bethesda announced it and then dropped it in a week. Like it was
right.
one of the most leaked and wild, like,
Right.
here's this game.
Yeah,
Have
it's the
at
worst
it.
kept secret. It's come on, it's just out in
Yeah.
a couple of days. Here you go.
Yeah. And no one was really quite sure what remastered meant. And what remastered it turned out meant was that they redid all the graphics in Unreal
Hmm.
and then had the original game under that
Right.
for some god awful reason.
Yep.
Maybe okay, I shouldn't say that. That might upset people. They should have fixed some of the original glitches. Like
Right.
they should have put some effort into that.
Right.
Um, but that said, I had a lot of fun playing, putting. I don't remember what I did, 30 or 40 hours. Like the thing about Oblivion versus the other Elder Scrolls games is once you hit like level, I don't remember, 20 or 25, everything becomes really easy.
Mm.
It's so you're kind of just going through the motions to get through whatever story parts you want or whatever, Daedric artifacts you want. And
Hmm.
um but it was fun going back to that and remembering all the things I loved and hated about it, and messing around with the spell making system until it glitched on me and stopped working, which is very frustrating.
Ah, Oblivion.
Same with enchantment. Again, why did you guys just not actually? Anyway,
Right, but and, like because Oblivion is like famously or infamously, I don't know which one, is a very inconsistently buggy game. So it's like you had the
yeah,
chance to kind of, if you could like unspool the spaghetti code that this game is running on top of, you could see an easy way of saying like, okay, we sort of fixed major systems in this game just not working at all. Um, and it's kind of a bummer that they didn't. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah.
The enchantment and spell stuff is the funnest stuff to play with in this game. So getting
Hmm.
locked out of that was
That's
pretty
frustrating.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But you know, still a great game, and I got it for the cost of $20 a month on Game Pass. So
Right. Right.
um, yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
All right. My next one here is probably going to be a little bit of a quick one, because at the moment I'm still playing it and still trying to figure out kind of what my thoughts are. But Hades 2. Um, playing that
Oh man,
for
that's a wish to play for me. I still haven't played it.
yeah, playing that for We Roguelike It here, weroguelikeit.com for all the episodes of that. Um, that's kind of one of these talking about it during Final Fantasy Tactics of like, okay, I should really play this giant release for at some point in 2025 since it's kind of the game on everybody's lips here at the end of the year. It definitely feels like one of those that I kind of didn't want to pass up, even though it's really not an RPG. We do talk about RPG
Yeah,
adjacent stuff. I feel like roguelikes are maybe closing the gap with RPGs a lot more as time goes on. They seem to be influencing each other more and more as time goes on. Um, and Hades 2, I think for better or for worse, is, I don't mean to be glib about this, but it's a sequel to Hades, and it's got all the hallmarks of the first one. It just kind of, there's more, and it's a different character, and there's more stuff to do in the hub world, and it still has incredible art and amazing voice acting and beautiful music, and you're kind of doing your same kind of runs. I like the main character a whole lot, um, but I think the thing that I'm struggling with is it's more Hades, and I that's cool, but I was hoping that there'd be like maybe a little bit more, and maybe there will be later once I get deeper and deeper into this game, because I haven't beaten it for the first time yet. I'm not even sure when I'll be able to. Um, but I was hoping there'd be a little bit more. Hades The one was kind of evolutionary for the roguelike genre of, having there being a different unfolding stuff every time you go back to the hub, and you're getting more story every time you go back to the hub area, and the game feels like it's evolving every time you go do a run, and that still does exist here in Hades 2, but at the very least at the beginning it doesn't necessarily feel like there's that evolutionary leap in the second one like there was in the first one.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you played Hades 1 and you loved it and you haven't played any other roguelikes since then, you'll probably really love Hades 2. But I was hoping for maybe just like a little bit more, a little bit like bigger of a step to the sequel of for Hades. And again, I haven't beaten the game yet. Hades 1 changed quite a bit when you finished it for that first time, so there's still some stuff in this game that might show up, after I finish the very first run, but I haven't really quite gotten there yet. So still keeping an open mind, still not saying like, well, it's garbage because it's just another Hades. That's still really great. Like over at We Rogue Like It, the Hades was our number one game for ever and ever and ever and ever, because it's just really is that great of a roguelike. So still super recommended. But Hades 2, it kind of isn't like leaving me kind of gobsmacked in a way that I was maybe hoping it would. But that's Hades 2. What's your next game here on the list?
So my next game, and past this, any games I mention will be games I wish I played, is Outer Worlds 2.
Yes.
I'm putting this here, one, because it's an Obsidian game, and we like Obsidian games over here.
Yep.
We just recorded the other episode just to pull back the curtain a little bit, so
Yep.
It's not like I'm any further, or my opinions changed since then. I think this is, for me at least, is a little bit of a rough start in terms of the character stat mechanics, but I still have a lot of hopes for it. I absolutely loved Outer Worlds 1. I love the whole corporations taking over the galaxy. I love the idea of you working for this agency that's supposed to keep them down, but most people you talk to haven't heard of the agency.
Right.
I love the whole time skip, and I'm excited to see what it does to all the characters if you get all the same teammates or if they're all different. I'm just excited in general. I just wish I had more skills to access more things at the start.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem we run into every once in a while with an RPG of like, boy, the beginning of this just is kind of either it's a slog or it's too difficult, or like you're just not, you're running into stuff that you don't have the right build for. We were talking about Fallout 4 in the previous episode. You run into stuff in there too of like, cool, I'm talking to this guy for this kind of main quest, and there are 4 conversation options I can do, and 3 of them are locked out because I don't have the right skill or stats or mods or whatever, and that's sort of frustrating. But hopefully it eventually kind of unfolds and gets better and better as you go through.
Yeah, and I will be, you'll hear about it from me in January.
Yep.
So, like, I'm gonna continue playing this. It would really have to tick me off for me not to beat it.
Right.
And it's more RPG like than Avowed. So I'm excited to have more of it, and I'm excited to get to the part where it's more about me and my crew and the ship than this first area.
Yeah. So check out next month for some continued impressions. I'm going to do like a quick 1-2 here because it's 2 games that I don't have a ton to talk about here. First up is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. This will be the 2 Bullet Heaven games kind of back to back here. This game's great. I've been talking about it for a while. Either you're playing it along with me and sort of hopelessly addicted to it as well, or you're kind of tired of me talking about it. And a lot of it is it's a Deep Rock Galactic themed Bullet Heaven game, and it's way, way, way more fun than I was expecting. It spent a lot of the last couple of years in early access, and I'm always, especially for roguelikes, I'm always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop with early access roguelikes of like, oh, it's going to come out and it's going to be way too difficult, or it's going to be kind of rough and it's going to be a little bit bad or whatever. And this game came out swinging and was really, really, really cool. And this for me is, I talked about it last month. It's definitely in my list of games to recommend, like Vampire Survivors, Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde, Halls of Torment, and this game are kind of like my Bullet Heaven games. I kind of go to all the time of like, if you're interested in Bullet Heaven games, if you want to try them, start with Vampire Survivors. You like that? Here's a whole host of other games that you can try out. So, DRG Survivor, really, really great. Way more game in here than I was expecting. It's very, 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 very cool. And to follow that really quickly, Halls of Torment, the console version came out in November of this year, and it works really well. I really had no concerns about it not being good, but there's always that risk every once in a while where a game that gets ported from PC that has been on there for a while, and it's like, oh boy, is this thing even going to function very well? But it does. It's really great. It has everything in there. It's reasonable price, and it runs flawlessly. It's got the square grid. If you haven't checked out Halls of Torment, it's a Diablo 1 and 2 styled Bullet Heaven game, and it's really great. And it's definitely one of the more difficult Bullet Heaven games here, which is kind of fun that there's everything sort of on the difficulty spectrum here. So that's the kind of 1-2 punch there. What else do you have here on your list? Because I think that's it for my 2025 list. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to add one games I wish I played, which was Rido Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kills me that I bought it. I did my monetary capitalistic surface to
Atlas fan purchase.
And I haven't played it. They redid the combat to this. The PS2 version was really cool and inventive, and
I love those two games so much.
Yeah, and I never beat either of them. I put a decent amount of hours into the first one, and I got the really cool version of the second one with the little stuffed Jack Frost dressed up
right
out. But,
right.
I'm glad they made this. I doubt it made them much money, but I hope it did, and I hope to find time for this game someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of these games were both very cool on PS2. I unfortunately forgot that this came out, and I really loved both of those first two ones. I'm also glad they came out with this one, because the first one on PS2 was really cool, but when the second one came out, it's like, oh, okay, I think you kind of made the game you wanted to make the first one. Like, you got it right the second time. And it's really cool to see them kind of like back porting a bunch of the stuff that made the second one great and putting that in the first one for this version. So
that's cool.
I keep meaning to pick this up and play it, but I just 2025 has not been kind to time overall, and I think my RPG playing this year has really suffered, because it's like, well, I don't know if I can sit down for like 50 plus hours for any of these games right now. You can give me a 20-hour RPG and I'd be pretty happy. And I know these two Rido games were on the shorter end, but like I don't know if I had the time to go through all of these. So
I didn't know it was that short. I'm just looking it up. Yeah, I guess if you're a completionist, it's a 60-hour game, but otherwise it's around a 30-hour game.
Yeah, that sounds about right for the PS. I think I remember finishing in like that 20 to 30 hour time frame on the PS2. So
I just assumed this was a typical freaking
100
Shimigami Tensei
plus
deal.
hour,
Yeah,
right?
so I didn't even.
Yep.
I just looked at it and thought, I'm never gonna have time for this. That changes the equation.
Yeah. 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 All right. Anything else on your list here?
That is my 2025 list.
All right. Let's start going through our games to look forward to here in 2026. Why don't you run me down your whole list here for the games that you're looking forward to for next year?
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll
I'll
see what I've got. What I've got also on my list, and then I'll wrap up with whatever the leftovers are.
Okay. One is a game that I don't have much to say about because I just discovered it before the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and that is Disciples Dominion.
Mm.
Um, I may or may not actually play this. Like, I really loved Disciples 2 way back when, but I also cheated at that game a lot.
Right.
I just really liked the ridiculous, ridiculously detailed artwork. It's kind of a like it'd be like man, all the words to describe it don't mean what they used to mean.
Right.
Because I will say it's like a Warcraft game, but I'm talking Warcraft 1 and 2.
Right.
It's kind of one of those, but it's turn based. And so the new one keeps a lot of that. You'll have characters that I assume you'll take from battle to battle, and it's got a lot of story and RPG and whatever elements to
Mm-hmm.
it. But so I'm gonna kind of bullet through a lot of these because
Sure.
I don't know a ton about them. Next one is a game called Graft that I think I talked about last year. Uh, Graft is a post-cyberpunk survival horror RPG from Harebrained Schemes. They did the BattleTech game that was really well received years ago, and Shadowrun Trilogy. Um,
Right. I remember this one now that I'm watching the trailer. Right. Right. Right.
yeah, like the tagline is "You are the ship of Theseus. Who or what will you be when you escape?"
So cool.
Um, so it's supposed to be a. Okay, I'll just read the description. Graft splices together tense survival horror with a dark RPG experience and a thrilling new adventure. Blah 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 blah. Explore a dying world haunted by darkly fascinating characters and nightmarish monsters as you delve into the mysteries of the Ark. Tear pieces from your enemies to transform yourself into something new, something capable of surviving the horrors to prowl around you. Um,
So cool. And
every
Hairbrain
graft
makes
bring,
great stuff.
yeah, it just sounds really cool, but unfortunately, they have not added any. I don't know. I have not heard anything about it. It doesn't mean they haven't said something, but
Mm-hmm.
the Steam page is exactly what it was when they announced it last year.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how far along they are. They could have years left, but here's hoping it comes out next year. I'd love to play another game from that studio. I love the Shadowrun trilogy. BattleTech, I think, was a little too tough for me to wrap my brain around, but I have
Mm.
friends who swear by that game and replay it constantly.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Graphics
next is
super
a
cool.
game that, this game actually probably shouldn't be on this list since it comes out in 2 weeks from
That's all right.
the time we were recording this, but that would be Demon School.
Yes.
Um, Talked about that last episode, and I am very excited to play it.
Yep.
Our weird Persona-esque isometric turn-based high schoolers versus evil game.
Yep.
Uh, I have no idea what this game's going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Ditto.
but looking for it. There is a game, I got to get to this page to talk about it, called Neverway.
Oh my
Um,
God. Yes. Neverway. I am so excited for Neverway. I'll let you take it away.
well then, okay, you have things to say about it. It has been in my Steam wish list a long time, and I never remember what it is. And it looks amazing, whatever it is.
So it's like kind of a they call it a like a horror life sim RPG. Um, to me, it's sort of a like a darker Stardew Valley. It
Oh
has a
yeah,
very like
yeah.
monochrome color scheme, but and it looks sort of horror story based. But at the end of the day, you're doing a lot of life sim stuff. You're going to a dungeon, you're fighting, you're planting crops and watering them on your farm. You're doing a bunch of, making friends in the town and shopping at the stuff. But it's all this like kind of eldritch horror tinged sort of stuff. And the pixel artist from Celeste does the artwork in here. The Disaster Piece does the soundtrack, and it looks really cool. I think this is the first. I mean, when you see a lot of this kind of life sim RPG stuff, it's all like Stardew Valley, Fields of Mystery. It's all the kind of like blue skies sort of stuff that you typically see, which is really great. But I like seeing something here that they're at least trying something significantly different. Of like, yeah, it's gonna be that game, but it's gonna be a horror game. And I think
Yeah.
I think that sounds really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
Yep.
So next is a game that I know I remember about as little as Neverway, and that is a game called Esoteric Ebb.
Esoteric Ebb. Okay.
EBB. So this is I may have to read the description. I thought it would be out by now because it looks pretty done in a lot of the previews.
Oh, I saw Northern Lion play the like demo or early access or whatever of this game. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's some sort of RPG. It has it says it's inspired by the freedom of tabletop adventures.
I think
Uh, it-
if you have seen or have played Disco Elysium,
mm,
it's a very similar thing of that of like you have a number of stats in your game. So it's like wisdom and strength and charisma and stuff like that. But those are kind of characters that live inside of you, and you're rolling against those characters of like, okay, I want to have or do a charisma roll, but here's my charisma like inside voice, and I'm gonna roll a dice like a d20 on top of that.
mm. That is exactly what this game is. I thank you for saying that. I had not
Yeah.
put that together. This is 100%, um, Lord of the Rings era
Yes.
Disco Elysium.
Yep.
Uh, but I'm here for it. I am ready. I'm
It
here.
looks very,
Uh,
very cool. Yeah.
yeah.
And the writing seemed, at least from the demo, seemed very interesting and very kind of at least at first glance seemed fun and self-aware in a non-annoying sort of way of like, yes, this idea is really silly, and we're doing something very ridiculous, but we're going to lean all the way into it. And I think that's kind of fun. Yeah, that's
Um,
Esoteric Ebb.
yeah. And then Kingdom of Night. So this is a game I kickstarted for $40 in 2018, and it's finally coming out. I didn't think it was going to come out, and then they started doing all these updates in the last couple years. And this last year, they've mostly been, seems like play testing it and trying to tweak the deal. But it's basically a like Stranger Things and Diablo kind of thing, where it has
Right.
a very 80s uh, setting, but visually it's got a lot of that cool ultra stylized pixel art we know and love. And
Mhm.
I hope it's good. It comes out December 2nd, so it may be out by the time this podcast hits.
Right.
Um, and then last is a game I also have to look up called Fate's End. What did I do with that?
Fate's
Oh gosh,
End.
I apologize. I should
No,
have
you're okay.
prepared.
We are sort of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit here on this episode too. So we're
Yes,
running against a kind of a time limit here.
I may have misunderstood what we were doing.
No, it's all right.
So okay. Um, so Fate's End is a really, really pretty looking game. Like it's got a really nice animation to it. It's an action adventure game. Has some sort of skill tree. Its art is very reminiscent of. Oh, okay. This is from Thunder Lotus Games. That's why it looks like,
Oh,
Sundered
Fate's
Spirit
End.
Fair and all
Yes,
that.
now I remember what this game is. This cool like lady with a floating sword tarot card. You
Yeah.
parry a giant golem in the sky sort of thing. God, this game looks
Yeah,
so cool.
it's
I totally
everything
forgot about this.
these people do just looks amazing. So
Yeah.
I
Also, again, if anyone hasn't played Spiritfarer, you really should. It's incredible. It
yes.
can also be a fairly large bummer a lot of the time, but maybe in a cathartic sort of way. But it's often pretty sad, but not
So
destroyingly
that
so.
is that is all I got for my 2026 list.
Alrighty, I have shockingly not a lot of the same games, which is kind of interesting here. Where is my first one? Here we go. Dragon Quest Seven Reimagined
Oh,
is
right,
a
right.
game I'm really excited about. This is the second time that they have remade Dragon Quest Seven, the famously or infamously difficult to get into Dragon Quest Seven. Is one of the few Dragon Quest games I haven't played, as much as I think I would really love the beginning of the original game. This like multi-hour uh, exploration game with no combat. Um, I think I would really like it, and I understand why a lot of people really don't. Um, I think this game looks really great. I really like how they have kind of taken the Toriyama art and put it into this game in a way that just looks like that guy's art completely. I really like the style, and I'm kind of excited to see Seven take on a new life here, in this kind of cool like diorama style version of it. So we'll see what it turns out to be in the end. I think Square Enix has been pretty honest at the beginning, saying like we're streamlining Dragon Quest Seven. Everyone goes, yeah, all right, I get it, sure. So we'll see what that means. I think it comes out in February of 2026. So we'll see what that means when it comes out. But it looks really cool, and I'm pretty pumped for that overall. Next up, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. This kind of two-part thing here for Yakuza Kiwami 3. I need to finish 2 before I start on this one, but I'm like all the way into all the Yakuza games at this point, and I'm excited to see them kind of give all these PS2 games a little bit of extra love here, because the original versions were fine, but they look and run so much better on these new versions, and I think that's super cool. I have only seen a little bit about Dark Ties, which seems to be like a little bit of an included side story thing. I know so little about the story of Yakuza 3 that I couldn't even tell you what that really means at all. So it's cool that they're basically just smushing 2 games together and releasing them here in this version. So next up, I think it might be an RPG, Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement. That's the second Bloodstained Metroidvania game here that we're shockingly getting a sequel to the first one, which I thought did okay, but I didn't think it did well enough to make another one of these. So, Metroidvanias are not RPGs, but sometimes they kind of flirt with the idea of being RPGs here in some cases. So we'll see where this one turns out, but that first one was really quite good and much better than I was expecting it to be. So I have high hopes for the second one here, especially coming off of Silksong, which is like one of my favorite games of all time now. I kind of have high hopes for a bunch of Metroidvanias here. So that's coming out, should be coming out at some point in 2026. I don't think it has a release date. Next game here that we'll probably be playing on Game Club this year, Dosa Divas. This is the cooking-based RPG from the team that made, cooking, Thirsty Suitors, the studio that made Thirsty
Oh
Suitors.
yeah.
They're making a new game here that is another RPG, but looks like it's a much, much larger one than the previous one. And Thirsty Suitors was cool, but I think we had a bunch of complaints about the it was kind of thin from an RPG standpoint, and this one looks like it's going to be much more of a and kind of open exploration turn-based RPG thing. So I think it's really cool. I'm very excited to see what this studio is going to keep doing, and that's going to be Dosa Divas coming out sometime this year. Next game, I don't know if it's coming out this year. Question mark. Fable. When is that coming out? Who knows? Will
This is the remake?
No, the brand new one.
Oh, okay.
The one
Okay.
made by Playground Games, the studio who makes the Forza Horizon games.
Hmm.
They're still working on it, and I seems like it was getting ready to come out in 2025, and then it did not. So we'll see if it comes out in 2026. I am definitely not the world's biggest Fable fan, but getting a new studio to make a brand new one of these seems like something that I kind of want to keep my eye on. So we'll see if it comes out this year. Fingers crossed. Not entirely sure. Next up, Mugenics. If you haven't seen this, Ed McMillan and team are putting out a brand new game. Ed McMillan of Binding of Isaac fame, making a cat breeding, turn-based, grid-based. They're basically making like a cat breeding Final Fantasy Tactics, which is wild. Hundreds of different kind of mutations here and meta progression upgrades and all that sort of stuff. Looks like there's a lot of kind of like pushing and pulling units around the map. So if you liked sort of what we liked out of what was that?
The mech game, right?
Yeah, the mech game that I love that I just can never remember the name of. And we played for We Rogue Like It and Into the Breach. Oof, finally got there. I just needed to keep yapping. I'd figure it out. It seems like there's a lot of that kind of like push-pull sort of stuff with a lot of units. So if you have seen Ed McMillan and team stuff before, you probably know what these games look like and kind of the content of the games overall. If you have not liked their brand of design and grossness, I don't think this game is going to change your mind. But just kind of keep that in mind here overall. Just a couple more quick ones here. Danganronpa 2x2, 2x2. I'm not entirely sure what they're calling this one here. Seems to be, question mark, a remaster of Danganronpa 2, but I don't entirely sure know what that means. Some of the stuff here from the trailer makes it look in like a way that I kind of can't explain because it's a spoiler. Makes it kind of look like a brand new game or like a different version of 2. And I'm not entirely sure what that means. So we'll see what that turns out to be, I think. Okay, 3 more quick games here. Zero Parades. This is the next game from the studio or what's left of it. I'm not entirely sure, that made Disco Elysium. And it looks very similar, at least on the surface, to Disco Elysium. So I am mostly bringing this up to say this is cool, this exists. Please don't yell at me. I have no idea what's happening with the split of the studio and who exists in this one, who exists in like the 2 spin-off companies and yada yada yada. I have no idea. I cannot keep that stuff straight. So Zero Parades is coming out. Looks very similar. I haven't played Disco Elysium, even though I keep meaning to. I have no idea. I'm just happy that there's more of this out here, and I don't know what everybody's yelling about, so don't yell at me. It's the long and the short of it. Persona 4 Arrival question mark? Is that a 2026 game? It seems like maybe not. If it
Oh, that's
is
weird.
if it is a 2026 game, I feel like it might be kind of late 2026 because the teaser trailer we got was literally 45 seconds long. So this isn't like a big gameplay deep dive. This isn't a big voice acting showcase, etc., etc. We still have very little idea of what a Persona 4 remake would be. So, is Revival going to come out this year? I have no idea. But if it is, surely it'll be cool. Persona 4 was problematic but cool, and we'll see what they do with Persona 4 Revival. I also wrote down here Mass Effect question mark. That's not coming out this year. There's no way.
Yeah,
I'd
no, I
love to be
googled that,
proven
and they were
wrong.
talking 2029 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't think it's gonna be. N7 Day just happened recently,
Yeah,
and there's no announcements for that, and it's like, yeah, that's not coming out
yeah,
this
they would
year
have.
at all.
That's a game that's going to have a year of freaking advertisement
A
to it.
hundred percent. Yep. Yeah. Last game I have here, Witchbrook is allegedly supposed to finally come out in 2026. This is the kind of pixel art witch school RPG that's been floating around for a couple of years that Chucklefish is publishing. Looks really cool. Looks like kind of a life sim RPG, like we were talking about with Neverway, but it takes place in a probably non-problematic wizard school. That we're not going to speak about other wizarding school things because we support and like trans people. But this looks very much like you're kind of living and studying and making friends at and learning witchcraft at this witch school. And it looks like a lot of the stuff that I would want out of one of these games. It has an incredible style to it. This very like high densile pixel art sort of thing. So that's Witchbrook, all one word. I really hope it comes out this year because I've been looking forward to it for what feels like 5 years, and it seems like it's had kind of an extended development cycle here, and I just really want to play it. I've wanted to play it for a very long time, and I think Witchbrook looks really cool. So I think that's all of it. We should probably mention there's going to be a bajillion games that are announced during 2026 that we don't know anything about. There's probably a whole bunch of games we forgot about and we missed. Please excuse us. We don't have the crystal ball for all of this stuff. And, we could probably spend the next 2 months figuring out what games we're excited for 2026 and still not have all of them because that's just how it goes.
Yeah. And as of recording, the VGAs have not happened yet.
True. Yeah. The video game
or
awards.
whatever they're called, the video game awards.
Yeah, that has not
anymore?
that has not happened yet. That's usually where we get some of this stuff. I think a lot of the stuff for this show typically isn't in the VGAs. I think unless it's like a big like here's the next Expedition 33 or here's the Final Fantasy VII remake part 3, whatever they're going to be calling that. That should be called
will they even
Reunion.
Will they even give the RPG award on stage,
True.
Or will it just be an informational slide?
Yeah, will that be in the pre-show of like an RPG of the year is this whatever by
Yeah.
So yeah,
But you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Expedition 33 is going to be in the Game of the Year list. I don't think they've released the nominees quite yet, but we'll see. And yeah, we'll talk in January, probably a little bit about the TGAs and see if they'll have some stuff there. But I do, before we go, do want to thank everybody for listening and supporting this show specifically. This show is a bit of a niche of a niche. We're talking about like choice-driven adventure games and JRPGs and that sort of thing. So I do really appreciate everybody supporting and listening to the show and providing all their feedback and hopefully enjoying it every month because we have a blast recording it and I hope everybody has a blast listening to it. So thank you so much everyone for listening and supporting it. over the year. Before we go, Musim, where can we find you online?
You can find me on my Linktree, linktr.ee/John Musim, JohnMusim. There you'll find links to all my music things I do and the social media that I'm comfortable with you have.
That's right.
All
That's
there.
right. If you'd like to follow me, I have campsite.bio/Jansten, Jansten. I'm also streaming every weekday at 9 a.m. Pacific for 2 or 3 hours over at twitch.tv/Jansten Plays. I'm a variety streamer, so you'll catch something new pretty often over there. And play some RPG stuff every once in a while. Play some cool like Dispatch and some cool choice-driven stuff over there. So go check it out. If you'd like to support this show, this is a listener-supported show. You can do so over at e1m1.cash. Those ones are the numbers. $5 a month tier is a recommended one. If you're listening to this during December, we do have the Patreon open house. That was very fun last year. There'll be 3 episodes available. That's usually behind the paywall. Those will be available for free for everybody. You don't even have to be following the E1M1 Patreon page to go see those. Those are just publicly available over at e1m1.cash. They are uncensored. They are kind of a selection of the best ones across the year. So it'll be a Critical Misses production meeting, the TVGP Outcast, and an episode of The Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show watchcast. So you get all of that over there for free. And there will be also a discount code over there for the month of December that you can take advantage of to get half off your first month of the $5 tier. So it'll only be $2.50 for that very first month. You can get that code over there on the page e1m1.cash. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. Again, we do greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you all next month. Bye.
Bye.